Welcome to the BA Podcast. We are at the Ritz-Carlton, Las Colinas in Dallas, Texas. I am Cheryl Conner, and I'm here today with Sam McGough of Discovery Medical Centers. And welcome, Sam.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Glad to be here. Excited to talk a little bit about what you're doing, and let's dive right in. So you've got the Discovery Medical Centers, and this is in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yes, ma'am.
Integrative Care. Talk to me a little bit about what that is.
So we look at integrative care as taking care of the whole person. So whether it's traditional medical care, offering alternative medicine, and offering nutritional advice or how to stay healthy. So a lot of times education is a huge part of that, and we specialize in that.
And also some modalities that are, weight loss, weight management, chiropractic.
Yes, we have a full array of services, and it's all built around making a person healthier.
Yeah.
So we find people need to lose weight.
Right.
People need to help with inflammation. We find the biggest source of inflammation is allergies. And so you can't get away from environmental allergies. You can't get away from the trees and weeds and things that you live around.
Yeah.
So if that's creating a lot of inflammation, we can lower that inflammatory load, creating a lot of different solutions for people that have pain or stomach issues, not just traditional what we think of allergies. So along with that, we also treat a lot of non-healing wounds for people because we treat a large diabetic.
So wound care.
Yes, wound care became a large part of our practice because we treated so many diabetic patients. And so that's a kind of part of the disease. So, and now we've moved into mobile wound care services and mobile transition care services where we actually meet people at home and take care of them when they can't get to a regular doctor.
I love that. Having a mobile wound care unit is, that's quite a differentiator.
Yeah, it's been different and we've been really well received by the medical community. I mean, they recognize other doctors, hospitals, they recognize that a lot of times that patients can't get to them. And so they want the best care for the patients. And so we go to them. So that's been really big for us.
Really interesting. One thing that is seasonally or currently so interesting is that 98% of your patients are relying on insurance for much or all of their care. And now there are new restrictions, and here with an emphasis on wellness, preventative care, the complete picture, I'm sure that hits you heavily, or your clientele.
It definitely affects our patients and our practice. The fact of the matter is, no matter what we do, insurances, including Medicare, every year cover less and less of the care that people need.
Which is sad.
It's very sad. You pay, the premiums go up, everything goes up, but the services go down. And unfortunately for patients, that means there's a lot of gaps in care that we have to try to fill.
Right. And I've heard you mention that some of the practices are even, they're diminishing, they're shrinking, some are even going out of business.
Oh, yeah.
But you are really determined to set the bar and to amend that.
Yes.
What does that look like?
Well, we're going to really lean in to help make sure that those gaps are covered. And so it becomes a way for us to find different services or different pathways that we can use, insurance and other things, to treat these patients and make sure they don't get left behind.
Are you working to try to amend some of those restrictions?
We definitely are. Some of the rules have changed and some of the reimbursement changes that are really affecting medicine. Lots of people in the last 60 days have gone out of business in all kinds of different...
In 60 days? Oh, wow.
Yeah, just because of those changes, but that doesn't just include our type of services. I'm talking from anything from like renal care, anything in chronic care, like chronic conditions.
Even the traditional things.
Traditional medicine is definitely, it's harder and harder for those small practices or just, practices in general to keep their doors open because you can't see the patients, enough volume to make enough money to pay for staff and all the other things you need to. And so with that diminishing, doctors typically want to do a good job, right? And so they can't, they physically capacity, they can't see enough, so they just don't have the time.
Oh, wow.
And so they're looking for other things to do. If you look at, and this research goes back for a decade where there's less and less people going to medical school.
Right.
98% of all medical doctors tell their kids not to become a medical doctor.
That's sad.
It's very sad.
Well, and in fact, some of the practitioners I know say that their biggest barrier, in addition to these restrictions, is malpractice insurance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, malpractice insurance, it now definitely differs between specialties because there's higher risk, but it definitely, of course, the higher risk patients are the ones that need the most care.
Correct.
So it's another challenge for doctors to get over.
Wow.
That's why you see so many doctors avoiding private practice and going into group practices or just working for hospitals or just getting out of it. A lot of doctors are getting out of medical and going into research or anything else they can do that just has a steady paycheck.
Well, on the positive side, that mobile wound care unit, it sounds like that's been very well received.
All of our mobile services between our mobile primary care, our mobile wound care, our transition care. So the transition care is where you see a patient once they've been discharged from like a hospital or a facility. There's a gap between that time and where a patient can be seen at their primary care doctor's office. We go into their home and take care of that patient in that window of
How long is that window typically?
So typically it can be anywhere from 30 to 60 days.
Wow, that's a big gap.
It's a huge gap, especially if you need medicine management. You need different things. And so if you can't get prescriptions or you can't get the orders filled, what are you going to do?
Wow.
So yeah, that's been very well received by all of our referral sources and hospitals and facilities.
Sure.
Like I said, it was something that they were having to do and couldn't, they didn't have access to do it. And so we were able to jump right in and take care of that.
That sounds pretty unique. Is there anyone else providing anything comparable in your region?
Unfortunately, maybe, but I don't know.
So pretty much you're it.
Yeah. So because like I said, and we have practices all across the country that are joining this our group, and so like we're finding the same thing. Every time we tell them how to do this and where to go to like the hospitals and who to talk to, very well received. You don't have to talk much. You don't have to get through many gatekeepers. Like when you tell them you're going to do this, they jump on it.
Well, that brings up another topic that not only are you very actively involved as a practitioner and at the helm of your practice, but as an entrepreneur, you're helping to improve that aspect of business as well, which I guess is one of the ways to effectively deal with some of these barriers. Yeah,
we use our MSO or management service organization to one, help grow practices and help them become to more profitable and to see more patients. But we also use it like anything else is for collective power. It's like just one practice as opposed to 10.
So that's something you've launched, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So all of the things that you've learned and automated and made more efficient, you've packaged.
Yes, ma'am. Our goal is to systemize those things so that they can scale, so they can repackage, and you can go from place to place and put this in to almost any medical practice, and be very successful.
Well, that's a welcome thing, I'm sure.
Yeah, we don't find it. We have trouble growing. We usually grow, and then we have to pause. And and get our staff and everything taken care of before we can do that. So we don't advertise. People come to us.
It sounds like the need is high enough that people will find you if you've got a good solution. So that's expanding to other regions as well.
Yes, ma'am. We're in
through the country.
We're in 8 other states.
8 other states.
Yes, ma'am.
So other practices that are dealing with the same barriers, most likely. It may vary a little,
These
I guess.
Are very similar. It may be a small differences from state to state, but it's pretty similar.
Pretty similar challenges everyone faces.
Yes, ma'am.
A last note on that, what do you see as the biggest trends right now in healthcare, particularly integrative care?
Well, we see a lot of people waking up to the fact that just taking a pill is not the answer. And also people taking a lot more personal responsibility for their health, which is great, which is what we need to do.
Proactive patients.
Right. Now the problem is sometimes that, the everything that's out there can confuse people. So education is key. And so getting with the right practitioners that know these things and can educate you properly, make better decisions is going to be key.
And probably a growing emphasis on the preventative.
It should be. And I think a lot of people are waking up to that, especially some of the middle age and even younger generations are starting to think about it, whereas we didn't think about it 20 years ago.
Oh no! My mother is 87 and is now on hospice. And as she looks at me, she says the greatest regret in her life is that she didn't know and didn't take care of her health and fitness and body in the way that is more typical now, as a big emphasis.
Yeah, we need really for a lot of people to wake up and take way more personal responsibility for their health. You can't rely on medicine, and you can't really rely on doctors. You have to educate yourself and take care of yourself, or else what we see is, the insurances are paying for less. People are becoming more unhealthy. And especially in the end stages of life, needing more medical care, and it's putting such a burden on the system. They're just playing the game of trying to like push people out of the system,
which is sad.
Which is very sad. But,
and if most of the investment and expense comes in the final stage of life, that's a sad statement as well.
It is, and unfortunately, our government and insurance companies, they know the math, and they are definitely trying to get people off the system.
Well, on to better optimistic topics than that. You are really growing as an entrepreneur, and it's fun to see that happen.
It sure is. It's been a wild ride. It's been great.
Have you? Did anything prepare you for what you would end up doing at this point in your life?
Not really, because it seems I guess the more I grow in my network and knowing people, opportunities come, and I see somewhere where I can put a little bit of value in, and I'm jumping on them.
And here in BA.
BA is an incredible a network. Is a good way to say it. Yeah.
I sometimes refer to it as the extraordinary league of freakishly talented people.
It sure is.
Yeah.
The amount of opportunities that you can find inside BA is incredible. Just if you just talk to enough people, you'll find either something you can help with, or something they can help you with.
A lot of both.
A lot of both.
Yeah. Which is good. Yeah. And lifelong friends.
Oh yeah.
In the process. That is great. Well, and speaking of lifelong friends and passionate interests, you're starting another venture, your podcast. Tell me about that.
So I've been a lifelong outdoorsman. I mean, and so I love like the hunting and fishing and anything outdoors. And so I found that when I would go hunting and I would be in these different places, I would run into other business people, whether they were in home services, or they were in real estate, or they were in, didn't really matter. We all had the same challenges. We had some of the same passions. And so we would end up talking about business. We'd end up talking about our stories of hunting and fishing and how they correlate. And so I just wanted to sit down with a lot more entrepreneurs that like to do the same things I do. And selfishly, I wanted to learn from them and then meet them and maybe go hunting with them, And so that's been great. And a lot of people at BA have really supported that. And so I'm really happy to get it launched.
That's interesting. And so we can do so many more things remotely these days. I live next door to someone who's been a decades-long radio host. So his studio is within his house, and it's amazing what is possible.
Now you don't have to, you can do it anywhere.
You can. That's interesting.
Yes.
Well, as to the biggest challenges you face, looks like you're even involved in some efforts to advance and change legislation. Wow. Yeah.
Over the years you learn and you get to connect with some of the like politicians and some of the people that can make those changes. And so I've reached out to a lot of the people I know that are in there in Washington and even from Alabama, and we need to make some changes. And so they need to hear our voices, and so we've been able to really get to the pretty highest levels of government to have some conversations.
That's impressive. So I hope to see an update in maybe 6 months.
I think there will be.
Let's hope so. That is wonderful, and bless you for those efforts.
Thank you.
Anything else? You've got so much on your plate, but is there anything we haven't covered?
Not really. I think we've covered the most important things for now, and then I'll definitely have an update next time.
Definitely an update, and I look forward to hearing it.
Oh, great.
I'm sure it's going to be good.
I hope so.
Well, thank you, Sam. And for all of you joining, we hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Board of Advisors podcast. But please take a moment to like, to comment, to subscribe. We look forward to seeing you on an ongoing basis. And thank you so much for joining us today.